What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Action Not Included. As you see in between episodes, I had the dupes go ahead and start finishing up the build for the fertilizer synthesizers for our little fertilizer farm / natural gas production here. We still need to get this flooded so that way we can keep our natural gas locked in, and we need to flood this one too. So realistically, we just need to create the liquid locks, and then these should be pretty much ready to go and fully ready to go. So let's see, what else do we need to have them do? It looks like we just needed to have them just kind of finish up projects and stuff like that. So I think the one thing I do want to probably start working on is setting up the petroleum boiler with the volcano. I feel like we would benefit from that pretty greatly, just for the sheer purpose of not having to have the dupes constantly do all the mining and stuff. Refining of the oil and everything. Sorry, I was getting distracted laying this out, trying to figure out the best way to go about it, because we are going to need to vacuum it out. So I was just trying to remember, like 10 blocks. I think that's what it is. But it's 10 blocks from where? I don't think it's going to be 10 blocks from here. I feel like it's going to be 10 blocks from here. Or 10 blocks from wherever we kind of have it not piling up from. Okay, you are in the base, so you cannot starve. Let's see. Actually, we will build a little liquid lock to let us get in and out of the volcano. Actually, we should be fine with just the one liquid lock, because this should ultimately stay a vacuum, because it'll have some magma in there, and then that should just be it, really. So this should, for the most part, be fine right about there. I feel like we probably get away with just about anything we wanted. Besides polluted water, yeah, no. But regular water, salt water, oil, petroleum, I'm not sure. We will make a decision on that. But yeah, no, want to get the wheel boiler done. We should be able to get it to fit in here. Let's lay out this first. Go with an oil well. We got a steel. Is that pretty much? Yeah, and I just leave one in the back. That's what I thought. Alright, then we go up. What do I generally do? 2? Or no, I just do it compact enough. Yeah, so right about there. And then a steel gas pump. This comes down to there, and that should make that. Oh, I'm a little extra high with it. Okay. I see what the difference is. I went up to there. So if a fluid, yeah, it could flood out the whole thing. Okay, yeah, no. Perfect. Did I put them both there? No, then what did I? Oh, it's 3 down. Okay, that's what I did. Just for an extra little buffer. I thought it was looking a little weird. Did we go one more from there? Right? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Because we need a block. Let's go regular iron. Okay, so that's how much space we have to work with to build the the petroleum boiler. That should be fine. I feel like that's actually more than enough space, really. Okay, yeah, no, we just need to get him to build it. Or yeah, so the plan is to have to dig that out, put a pump in, have them pump out all that oxygen, and then because we'll have hopefully a vacuum and no other debris in there, should be pretty good. But yeah, no, that is the goal. To get that made and done so we can get a oil boiler going, eventually pump enough fluid or pump oil into hot enough oil into the geothermal plant to unplug unplug this geo vent, and then once we get that geo vent unplugged, start taking advantage of all the thermal energy that we can get out of this, and just kind of start trying to get our power situated so we don't have to worry about it. That's pretty much our limiting factor still, is just enough power to run everything. Oh, our batteries are actually pretty full right now. I'll just say is, as you can see, the batteries aren't staying full, but apparently they are. What do we have running? That's petroleum generators are getting petroleum now. Okay, yep, no. Perfect. Alright. Let's make aluminum. What do we have? Aluminum, copper, that's okay, yeah. What else do we need to have them focus on? I think, yeah, it's just really getting some resources refined, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. See, our power actually can't keep up. I knew that those batteries being full was a lie. Why do you do this? There. And now you're free. Get trapped. Again. You're not trapped again, are you? Oh, please tell me you're not trapped. Can you make it back to... Okay. You can pass back to the base. Okay, am I done having to babysit you for the moment? Perfect. Okay, no, power feeds that. You just need to finish getting this made. Ah. And now... I am tempted to dump all the rust in the iron volcano. Because I believe when it melts, I don't think it off-gas chlorine. I think when it melts, it just turns back into iron. Yeah, let's double check. Yeah, it just turns right back into molten iron. Yeah, so the best way to do it would be to just convert. Oh. Guess that's the question, is do we want to turn it into refined iron? Or do we want to clean it and get iron? There is a mod that lets you use refined metals in place of ore metals for things that took ore, like the gas pump. So like you can take like iron ore and steel, but there's a mod that lets you use just refined iron to make the gas pump, which I feel would help mostly with our conveyor rails. Really, is just kind of more what I was thinking for it, because conveyor rails just take so much ore to run. Oh, so much. It's ridiculous. I'm not sure. Not really trying to make this a mod heavy gameplay, especially, halfway through. I feel like that's, if I was going to do that, I should probably have done that at the beginning. Okay, so this is getting done. This is built. This is built. That's why I wanted this to be 3 high. Okay. I knew there was a different reason. And that was so I could tie it into the main power. I mean, actually, I guess I could technically put it here. Yeah, we could put it there and then still seal it off like that after we piped all the gas out. Yeah, perfect. Let me just set that to all. The real question is do we want to maintain a liquid lock to get back into the volcano to possibly dump in iron or rust in there? I don't know. I'm not sure. But while I'm deciding that, I'm gonna cut for the moment, and I'll see you guys in a moment after they get some more stuff built and whatnot, while I sit here and ponder what to do about that. So okay, well, I still haven't quite decided what to do about that, but we do have our natural gas geyser erupting now, so for the next 74 cycles. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. We are going to be getting a nice, somewhat consistent influx of natural gas. As you can see, our natural gas generators are running now. Our batteries are kind of somewhat mostly full. So we should hopefully get this done soon. We realistically should change the priority on this construction here to like a 7. And the reason why you want to make that a 7 is so we can get that loop up and running, so we can chill down these steam turbines, so we can, you know, make refined resources. Kind of just a big circle of life, essentially, here in the Frosty Pit. We are going to want to vacuum this out and fill it with hydrogen. The reason why I do that is just because hydrogen has the best thermal conductivity out of all the gases that you could realistically, you know, use appropriately for it. Which is why I tend to fill, you know, any sort of sealed area with hydrogen like that, so that way it just, you know, works out better. But yeah, no, once they get these pipes made, and it gets like some petroleum or something, yeah, I think we're gonna go with petroleum just because I feel like that would withstand the heat better going through the base area. So what we're going to do is we can just take a bridge. No, helps if I'm in plumbing. We just do this. And we'll just chop that there. And now get that loop going around. Just made out of steel, right? Yep, okay. And, you know, send a green if above, like, 80. We pick 80 because this is, you want these under 100, so 20-degree buffer on the steam turbines. You know what? We could put a little oil. Yeah, that might help. We pour a little bit of like little liquid here on the bottom. I'm going to say oil. And that'll help absorb some of the excess heat for a moment. Kind of limp us over the finish line. Let's get that vent installed for the hydrogen. Oh yeah, that's going the wrong way right now. We don't need that going that way anymore, because we're just going to run that into just, okay, that's hydrogen. We run this into one of our exhaust pipes here. Actually, to be honest, we can probably just vent it over, like run it in and just put like a little gas vent. A little something like that. Actually, no, we don't want to use that. We want it to be made out of ceramic. And now we don't care, so we can just go with granite since we have the most granite. We'll just put it up one with a high. No, I mean, I'd rather make it out of lead, but let's go with aluminum. Actually, no, we'll pick iron since we'll essentially have an infinite amount of it. Here comes all of our natural gas, excess hydrogen. This should actually help out a lot. Now let us And let's pick crude oil. And once we cool down these steam turbines, we should be able to finish producing the resources we need. I do have them set up to strip mine this area over here because we really need a lot of iron ore right now. That's kind of one of our bigger bottlenecks. Why are you starving? You shouldn't be stuck. Oh, please tell me you're not stuck somewhere. Alright, no, so you should be able to make it up out of there. Oh yeah, we're making frost burgers now. Oh yeah. Which that should start to help buff everybody's mood. Yeah. Why are you... What is... How are you always getting yourself trapped, bro? Like, seriously, every time. I look away for 2 seconds. Like, come on. Okay. And now as you can see, we're getting some oil in here, which is soaking up a fair amount of that heat. And is then helping the turbines kind of run. And do we want more than that? No, I feel like that should be good. That should be more than enough to do what we need. Did you make that out of mercury? Yeah, it's a little annoying. Don't understand why everything switched to mercury. I mean, I get that we had a fair amount of it. Let's just go with iron. Okay. And now these turbine, or at least this turbine, is cooling off, which is allowing us to make more aluminum, which then should hopefully let us make more of our cooling loop to actually properly cool these down. Do you even want these gases? Do you want to just vent them out? I feel like we might want to just vent these out the base. So I feel like we could probably just get away with doing a little bit of this. And there. That's done. Oh, these are... Actually didn't want these running yet. Yeah, we did not want those running yet. We wanted this cleared out first. That explains where all of our phosphate and stuff was running off to. Okay. Is this fertilizer? Yeah, this is probably fertilizer. But I mean, do we just do all? No. Yeah. Yeah. Just go the lazy way. Oh, yeah, I guess that is the question, is how do I get this one out of here? Well, I didn't think about that. So I don't think can I make this here? I can even make it here. Okay. Nope. Helps if I have it go the right way. And I do I go down or let's go up. We'll go up. Okay. Now we got that done. We almost have this done. Yeah, because once we get all the hot gas pumped out, we'll fill it with cold hydrogen. And as we're filling it with cold hydrogen, that should help get them running. Yeah, alright. And while that's doing that, how much natural gas are we... are we even saving any right now? We do not appear to be... Well, okay. So all of our lines are filled. So we needed to fully prime all of our gas lines before we could consider even start filling up our tanks. That's fine. So I was curious kind of where that was. Okay. Alright. That's doing good. Okay. Well, I'll be back once they get this all done or built up. Okay. So, we're back. We have our cooling loop for the power brick and the steam turbines up and running and filled with petroleum. It took a moment, but we got it going. We're making plastic again. I stopped making plastic to get petroleum, so let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, nope, these are running at max speed. I never did look to see what the maximum heat was, but it seems that like 104, 150 was too much. So, or yeah, 250 was too much. Maybe it's 150. I'd have to look. I mean, either way, we are getting maximum power and they're not really overheating, so I'm not that worried about it. But we will try to get the proper efficiency out of them. And now we're just going to rip out all this gas piping because we don't need it anymore. Because what we're going to do is fill this with hydrogen. And we should hopefully have some stockpiled now. Yes, we do. our natural gas geyser, I believe I showed you guys, is up and running. Our gas line is primed, and we are now stockpiling natural gas. So our power issue has pretty much been solved the moment that natural gas geyser fired off. I mean, we could still use the fertilizer and some other stuff, but it's not as direly important anymore. Especially now that we got the steam turbines up and running, and they're kind of basically making the metal refineries be self-powering semi for the most part. I mean, like, not entirely. What definitely helps reduce the power. What is going on? These shouldn't be getting... Oh, they be overheating. That's what is going on. I was wondering what was going on. I was confused. Overheating damage at that temp? I thought they overheated at a higher temperature than 75. Okay. Yes. We definitely need to, we need to change that to steel. Very much so. We need to change all of these to steel. So, let us go ahead and kind of shut all this off for a moment. We'll limp along on our steam turbines, which is fine. I mean, definitely gives us better fuel, or better power than nothing. And ultimately, we're just going to have to deconstruct all of these and make every single one of them out of steel. It's just how it's got to be. And yeah, we're just going to replace them all with a steel blueprint. And hopefully we'll start making some more steel. And we can get them properly replaced. Yep, there is a little bit of natural gas up there, but that's okay. It'll get vacuumed out. Let's give these priority 7. Just so that way when we're making steel, it will get prioritized over here. And then we'll redo these with steel. Everything needs to be steel in here. I knew we were going to have to swap it out eventually, but just didn't think it was going to be quite that soon. That's my fault for not thinking about the coolant. How about this? This is doing pretty good. Current internal temperature is getting still pretty high. Deconstruct that gas vent, and then this should let us stunt that, push that over. This has more than enough hydrogen in there. Oh, okay, it is being deconstructed. How about we set these to 200 instead? I think that might be better. I guess we'll just keep playing around with it until we figure out what's the best temperature to keep these at. Clearly 250 Celsius was way too much, which is fine. Oh, are you okay? That's good. All right. Well, do we have any other issues we need to work on? I mean, technically this is a problem, but I've been kind of ignoring it because of the amount of food we have going on right now. It's been going pretty good. Our hatch ranch is actually coming along real nice. What we got in here? We got 8 in here, 8 in here. Oh, if below. We want you sending if send green signals if below. No, I had it right then. If this is above. If above 7, and that's 77. Is that what we want? Yeah, let's see. Okay, yeah, so this is above 7, and we want these demanding 8. There we go. That's what we want. I knew there was something wrong here, but it was just something simple like a setting. Okay, so hatch ranch, we want drop off at 8, detector at above 7. So when there is 8, it's like, okay, we're good, green signal, we're full. So that way this sends a signal green, full, to shut off, but only if both of them. So both of them sending a green will tell this to stop. That is what we're looking for. Perfect. And now we should pretty much be running on a strictly refill the farm maneuver and turning the rest into meat. Okay. And this is going good. This is still producing and pumping. So and how are we looking over here? We just need our event, so we can clear that out. And yet again, we're just waiting for lime. Does this store fossil? It does. It is calling for fossil. Okay. How about this one? Salt. Okay. I did ultimately decide to build a rust cleaning station over here. Yeah, you know, we're just gonna have them pump out the oxygen, the chlorine, and to be honest, until we start making liquid oxygen, I'm just gonna tie it into one of these exhaust pipes we have here with some bridges, so the exhaust from the power brick takes priority, and we're just gonna have it vent out into space. Once we start making liquid oxygen, you know, we'll take advantage of as much free oxygen production as we possibly can. Now, my other plan for our oil boiler over here, petroleum boiler over here, is to actually use a liquid turbine or a liquid what is it? Blah, blah, blah. What are these? Liquid temperature? No, it's aqua tuner. Use an aqua tuner to cool the equipment we're going to have running over in the back, like the miner and the other stuff over here. And instead of using the oil like I would normally would as like a kind of like a preheat, and it helps siphon the heat out of the miner and other stuff and then go through a part of the preheating. What my plan is to actually do instead is to suck all the heat out of it with a aqua tuner to then heat up this cool steam coming out that we can then turn into power and water via a steam generator. Now that's, you know, clearly we're still a bit a ways from that because we just have to get this prepped, but that is the plan, is to kind of tie this cool steam vent into our oil boiler, which will potentially convert into a sour gas boiler at some point. So, but I will be back once we actually start getting the oil boiler built and laid out. So I'll see you guys in a moment. Okay, well, we experienced a little issue with some of our power and whatnot. It was breaking. So I decided to swap it all out for steel. So that's what we're in the middle of doing, is upgrading our power generators from iron ore to steel, which has kind of set us back a little bit on our goals of getting this oil boiler up and running wherever, yep, there it is, wherever it was down here. So this is kind of taking way longer than what I was expecting it to, but we are getting it. As you can see, we are vacuuming it out and stuff, but that's kind of pointless if we're not getting liquids. We don't have a liquid lock. And I could have sworn I swept all that. Okay, or mopped all that. Alright, but yeah, no. So that's what we're doing, is we are currently in desperate need of making liquid locks. That's what I'm gathering. is that somehow I have failed to make sure all those were done before we started vacuuming stuff out and stuff. Sorry, I was distracted and trying to make sure I was actually trying to fix the problems and not making them worse. I have decided to install some extra, rework the batteries essentially, push them a little closer so that way we can fit more in here. So this one goes to natural gas. This one goes up to the hydrogen. Yeah, this one runs over to the hydrogen. This one will go to the coal, and the last one will go back to the petroleum once they all get made. And then we're gonna have 2 extras just for excess or extra storage for running stuff. Just want to make sure we have enough backup storage. I swapped out and started putting liquid reservoirs in here, so that way once we get going, they can have a little extra buffer. If you do it right, you probably don't need this, but I've always found that they tend to lock up on me because the steel wants to hold like 1200 or something, and I don't have quite enough enough pipe segments to cover that. So I decided to convert over to liquid reservoirs, and then what we're going to end up doing is just adding enough petroleum to them to actually back up into the liquid reservoir, so they always have fluid pumped into them. So, but that is the goal. This did break on us because it's made out of iron ore, so we did have to swap that out for steel, which kind of took a minute. It did have to rip up our steel lines down here to establish that, but it's not the end of the world. We can redo it, just have to relay it out with steel. But yeah, I know we needed to reconfiscate that steel back so that way we could actually build the things we need to build so we can keep moving. But no, once we get all that done, we'll be all good. I did end up swapping these to aluminum instead of steel. I didn't realize I made them out of steel. I probably would have made them out of aluminum to begin with. They don't need to be made out of steel. You need to keep them below 100 degrees Celsius anyway, so regardless of what their overheat temperature is, it's, technically 100. So making them out of steel is unnecessary. But this is almost done. We just gotta get caught back up on our lack of steel production, which we should hopefully be doing now. We have petroleum backed up and everything, so things are looking good. But I will check back in with you guys hopefully with better news about that oil boiler being made. If not, we're probably just gonna get all this stuff done up and finished up, get our power brick back up and running so we don't have to worry about a lack of power. And yeah, I will see you guys in a moment. Alright, so things that we've done this episode. So far we have pretty much gotten everything swapped out to steel, besides these hydrogen generators, because I failed to notice them, and the gas pipes. So we pretty much have this, for the most part, converted over to steel. At least all the buildings that need to be steel. So all the power transformers, all of our power generators, for the most part, have been converted over to steel so they don't get too hot. We've installed extra batteries. We have installed liquid reservoirs, so we have a little buffer of coolant for our metal refineries. Our metal refineries are now basically, as up as often as they can be. Yeah, so everything else in here is either steel or ceramic as it's needed. This is, for the most part, basically done. We now have our liquid locks installed and whatnot. So now we should be able to essentially pump it all out. They're getting filled with phosphate and dirt, so that is looking mighty fine. We do need to redirect part of this phosphate line back up here to our puke apple bushes, so that way they can get fed with their fertilizer with auto sweepers and not have the farmers constantly do it. We do have the starts of the mostly self-contained sweet wheat farm going. It's basically just mostly body temperature apparently at this moment, but it was fertilizer first. But we're getting that pretty much finished up and set up. I mean, it's not like we're okay, we'll deal with that later. But as you can see, we pretty much have an astronomical amount of frost buns at this point. So we're pretty set on the food front. No problems. This is getting a bit hot in here, so I'm thinking we might have to build another one of these little cooling blocks right here on top of our SPOM to help just maintain temperature. But it's probably something we can push off till later. We have rebuilt the steel, or at least we're rebuilding the steel. Getting this done. We're getting this all liquid locked up. This is liquid locked up. We're currently trying to turn this whole thing into a vacuum. Let's see, what else did we get done? We did not get this done. I wanted to get this done this episode, but we had other things come up and get in the way. So, unfortunately, our oil boiler will have to wait until another episode or two. I suspect it'll be at least 2 episodes before we get it done. Just because of the way things have been going, anytime I want to build a project, the game's like, hey, no, you gotta go deal with this stuff over here first. So, with that will be the end of this episode. And I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe.